One mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
They say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Yep, back on a Monday here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. What up? I'm here, man. I'm in here, Spreaker.com, SPREAKER.com. Spreaker also has an app where you can hear me. I send in my stuff to TuneIn to make sure they got my stuff situated live today. So you guys can probably check me out on TuneIn as well if you got that on your mobile device. I'm also heard on the website. That'll make it more easy. OneMicWithBigMike.com. If you don't get a chance to stick around for the entire show, do not fret. You can also get the show on demand on every platform that I've already mentioned, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. You can catch the video replay of the live stream I'm doing right now on Facebook. So go ahead and check out the Facebook page if you want to be a looker, be a watcher. It's facebook.com/1 MICWITHBIG One Mic with Big Mike. Use that same handle for my Twitter and my Instagram at One Mic with Big Mike. There on my Twitter, you can check in on the hashtag, put it on the poll. Hashtag, put it on the poll, brought to us by Sports News and Brews.com. It is POLL poll, not the one that the strippers tend to make their money with their high-flying acrobatics, I've heard. Anyway, you can also, if you want to get in contact with me, if you want to be a part of the show, you can also discuss the put it on the poll questions during the show, too. I don't care. I got stuff planned, but, plans are there to be broken. I know that's not the saying, but that's my saying. You can text me at 404-902-8104, 404-902-8104. If you're watching me on Facebook, you can see the number at the bottom of the screen. You can also leave your comments and questions or whatever, criticisms, below the video on Facebook here, or you can jump inside my live interactive chat room. To do so, you must be listening via Spreaker. Once again, SPREAKER.com. Make sure you sign up for your free Spreaker accounts as well. It is absolutely free, but that way, once you do that, you can follow my show, One Mic with Big Mike, and then get alerts when the show goes live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 7 o'clock. But you can also click that little thought bubble icon while you're there, get you inside the live interactive chat room, and you can party with your boy all night. So tonight we gotta do some catching up. I missed Friday, had some stuff I need to take care of, so I had to miss Friday. And as I'm missing Friday, I see Charles Oakley getting ready to swing on some cats inside Madison Square Garden. So I wasn't really mad. Like sometimes I get mad when I miss things like that, as far as being able to cover it and do it on the day it happened. But not that, because I figured this ain't something like you done took my man away to jail. You done put charges on him. Like this ain't gonna be over quickly. It ain't gonna be like I'm gonna wake up Saturday morning and like no one's talking about this. So I was kind of cool, and like I knew it developed. Like I knew it would. It developed, and now we have a beautiful bouquet of ignorance and stupidity. Speaking of bouquets, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. For those of you who partake in those type of situations, for those of you who want to confess your love for your loved one once a year and then be an ass for the rest of the year, that's what I consider Valentine's Day to be. It's like, and especially now in social media, it's like now it's all a competition. Like look what I got my woman, look what my woman got me, look what my man got me, and so you can post it. Get out of here. You guys have terrible relationships probably. Like 80% of you probably have terrible relationships on every day except for tomorrow. And you know how I know? It's because especially the dudes, or the dudes and the women. The dudes who already know that if they don't do something like extravagant for their woman, it's going to be a problem. And the women who are going to have a problem if their man doesn't do something extravagant for them on one particular day that was just made up, just this made up day for people to show love to each other. Ridiculousness. You damn sheep. So anyway, That's tomorrow. It's also Black History Month too, by the way. So I got a couple of Black History facts for you guys today in my daily feature called On This Day, where I take a look back. If you haven't heard the show before, I do a feature where I take a look back into the history of sports and give you guys some little tidbits and factoids from the day.
Alternative facts.
No. Not alternative facts. The real ones. The real facts, not the ones that old girl that works for Trump is talking about. The Grammys happened last night. I didn't see not one single solitary minute of it. I saw a little clip of Beyonce's thing today, and man, pregnancy wears her well. The chesticles was on real, boy. They was on smash. And I saw a couple other things, and maybe I'll get a chance to talk about them and get to it at some point today. I was watching Roots, cuz. Yeah, that's what we always tweeting about Beyonce and CeeLo. I was watching my man Kunta getting the brakes beat off his head last night. Oh, I don't know why I'm laughing at that. That's a horrendous scene. That's probably one of the most horrendous scenes in any movie ever in history, and they remade it. We'll talk about remakes today too. Maybe, because it's like this is my time, man. Football season is over with, so I don't feel the pressure of having to speak about football to appease you idiots who just want to talk football. Nah, you get to have conversation now, man. And now it's time for those whack jobs who depend on football season, so they don't have to do no damn work. Now you got to do some damn work. So we probably got a couple football things today, but yeah, I got a bunch of ignorance and some stuff going on in the NFL. This whole thing about people going to the White House, like we all knew, like bruhs, we knew it was going to come to a head eventually. If your man ended up being the winner, and for some reason, white people are stunned, they're shocked and appalled. That's my favorite one. I'm so shocked and appalled. And of course, you got the obligatory brother that's going to step in and be like, I don't know why they're not doing it. This is ridiculous to me. One of Atlanta's favorite. We'll talk about it in just a second here. Saturday night, NBA primetime had some basketball. For many of you guys, it was more of a soap opera. KD, first trip back to OKC since he made the decision to go to Golden State. And it's funny, I feel like I've already done this show or had that particular conversation during the show, but I guess I'll do it again because y'all don't understand. I mean, and the thing is that it's not even that y'all don't understand. Y'all do understand. But it's, for whatever reason, different when it's not you. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's got like a different taste to it when it's not your cooking. And then, of course, like I mentioned, we'll talk about the Charles Oakley thing. We'll probably lead with the Charles Oakley thing since that happened more recently. But shout out to, you know what? Before I start, shout out to the UConn ladies going for 100 wins in a row today. Like, damn, dude. Like, I don't watch ladies basketball, girls basketball, female basketball, women's basketball. I'm just going to say all the pronouns to get it covered. So, you know, ain't nobody trying to say, oh, you going to call them girls, huh? I don't know. You know, I'm still, the last time I saw women's basketball in college. Let me not tell that lie. I was going to say the last time I saw it was in high school when you said the girls team. But whatever. They're going for 100 wins. Like, I'm a big history fan. I'm a fan of people making history, but I can't act like I'm just all enthralled with this story. So I'm gonna mention it. Shout to them because 100 wins in a row is like ridiculous. To not have somebody like a main player injured and like somebody sneak up on you or to take somebody for granted. That's like major work from them girls, ladies, women, females. Let's cover the gamut. You know what I mean? Let me give you guys to put it on the poll questions that we left off with last week. Like I said, I didn't do a show on Friday, so let me give you guys those, and I'll give you the ones for today as well. Got to scroll. Do the Atlanta Falcons? No, that's not it. Sorry. Oh, those are them. But these are the ones that are up now. The ones that were up from last week, they don't even matter anymore, I don't think. Is there a white man alive that's more happy to be white than Rob Gronkowski? Most of you guys say there is not, and I believe it. They got a reality show. He, T.O., Antonio Brown, KD. They got like a Shark Tank. If you've seen that show with Damon John, he's the only person I know on the show because he's the only black dude, and he did FUBU. But you know, where the people pitch ideas and they buy into the people's idea, invest in people's ideas. They got like an athlete's version of that with Shark Tank. And you got KD, Marshall Faulk is on there as well. And it feels like the one dude that don't have no money from what you saw on TV is T.O. though. Like, he's one that was crying because he was broke, wasn't he? Like, all these other cats, like Marshall Faulk is gainfully employed. Like T.O. does like guest spots on ESPN and things like that, but like I'm talking like a regular set check. KD's gainfully employed. Gronk is still up there. You know, that dude said he don't spend none of his check. He only spends his endorsement money. Like, yeah, if that don't tell you, if that's not the whitest thing ever. Professional athlete says he only spends his endorsement money and puts his check in the bank and just stack bread. Yeah, no bruh ever said that ever, and probably will never, ever say that. Do the Atlanta Falcons defensive firings? You remember last week they fired a bunch of guys, well, two. The defensive coordinator and Brian Cox got the axe last week, and people saying it won't happen. It wouldn't have happened had they won the game. Is Tom Brady's wife right to want him to retire and get out while he's ahead? 83% of you people said yes. Now, here's the more recent ones that we'll talk about as the show moves on as well. Is it more courageous to make the popular decision or popular choice or to make the unpopular choice? And 75% of you said it's more courageous to make the unpopular choice. These polls are still up. Hashtag put it on the poll, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. And that, you know, that kind of just leads into this Kevin Durant thing. It's like everybody's acting like, you know, he's a punk, he's a coward, and all these kind of crazy things. But, and then the coward thing is the thing that's kind of like weird. How you a coward and you know this stuff is coming? Like he saw it happen with LeBron. Hell, he was a part of it when it happened with LeBron, of the backlash. So he knows it's coming, but he did it anyway. To me, that's the opposite of being cowardice. But, you know, like I said, we'll get more in depth on why fans are idiots. Like I feel like I do this like once a month. It may be just me purging myself, but yeah, fans are idiots, and fans do idiotic things. Do you want to see a remake of the movie Scarface? Apparently, the movie Scarface, the remake or the reboot of it has been greenlit, and a bunch of the brothers on Facebook was like, "Hell no, classic!" Like, dude, like things are better. Like things get better with time. Some things, you know, not all, but some things get better with time. I don't necessarily think like Scarface isn't cinematic genius. Like the reason we love it, and the reason so many of us turn it into this like folk and this cult classic, is because of the story. And a lot of us were young. Like me, I was young when I saw it. So it was like one of those taboo things that you weren't supposed to see, but you saw it anyway. But that's not cinematic gold. The special effects are terrible. The acting is terrible. Like, I feel like that may be one of the things that could be done better now. But apparently, 50% of you said no. 33% of you are so far saying that you're indifferent, like you could go either way with it. And 70% say yes. Like, I'd like to see it again differently, maybe with real Hispanic actors this time. How about that? I don't know. How about doing that? Because like you talk to people who are Cuban, or you hear people who are Cuban talk about it, it's almost like comical or like a mockery of the way actual Cubans speak. To hear, you know, white people and Italian people do these Cuban accents. I think the one Cuban person was Tony Montana's mama. Do you know the words to the Negro National Anthem? Or did you even know that there was a Negro National Anthem? 80% of you saying yes and yes. Did you know every word? I didn't look this up because I wanted to be fresh on the show, and I just wanted to like throw it out there. Is the Negro National Anthem Lift Every Voice and Sing? I think it is and part of the reason I think it is because so many people are saying that they sung it all the time in school. And the song that I remember singing in school was Lift Every Voice and Sing, Till Earth and Heaven Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoice in something. Like, I don't know. Like, I think I might be close at that point, but I don't know the rest of it. And you jerks to talk about, you know, the whole damn, like right now on cue. If somebody was going to like, I give you $1,000 right now to sing this whole Negro National Anthem. How many could actually get that done? Maybe that's how I should have posed the question. Because some of y'all are lying. Anyway, let me give you guys the choices, by the way. You guys can still go to the One Mic with Big Mike, at One Mic with Big Mike on Twitter, hashtag put it on the poll, and answer these questions. And by the way, hashtag put it on the poll ain't just for me. You guys can, you know, throw stuff in there as well. Once I do the search for hashtag put it on the poll, I'll see it. Or if you just want to like jump inside the live interactive chat room or leave it below the live stream on Facebook, One Mic with Big Mike is my Facebook page as well. Or you can just text them to me at 404-902-8104, and I'll get it popping for you. I'll put it up myself. I asked 2 questions, so I gave you a combination of answers. Yes and yes, saying that you know the words and that you actually know that there is one. No and yes, saying that you know the words. Wait, so no, you don't know the words. Okay, that's probably me. No, you don't know the words, but yes, you know there's a Negro national anthem. 0% said yes, they know the words, and no, they don't know. Of course, you don't know if you don't know the words. And then no and no. I'm looking for some of my white folks to chime in, actually. You know what I mean? Because like it's too embarrassing if you a bruh or you a sister to be like, what? There's a Negro national anthem? And second of all, when you go to if you go to a Toronto Raptors game, right? What they do? They don't play the Toronto national, or the Toronto don't have a national anthem, the Canadian national anthem, and they gonna play the American one, right? But like, if you're in Toronto, I'm just gonna go ahead and bet, like on the court, whatever team is playing the Raptors, including the Raptors, is gonna be 80% Negroes. Why they don't play the Negro national anthem? If it's a national anthem, I'm sure my man Kaepernick would stand for that. That's something to ponder, ain't it? Like we got this Negro national anthem and they do it once a month. Nah, if it's a national anthem, run it. Let's go. Yeah, let's start that movement. Hashtag Negro national anthem. Let's run it. And finally, do you consider the Golden State Warriors versus the OKC Thunder a rivalry? And I kind of just bit this because I was watching the new Sports Center with Jamel and Michael Smith before the show started. And they were kind of going back and forth on it. I don't believe it is. And then Mark Spears came on, and Mark Spears said, look, it's a rivalry between two dudes, two balling-ass basketball players, but the teams are on totally different ends of the spectrum. Like, one is trying to break records. The other one is trying to barely get into the damn playoffs. Yeah, I've never seen a rivalry like that in ever, Jerry, in ever. So that's it. Your hashtag, put it on the poll. Questions brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. Or did I mention I got a guest at the bottom of the hour as well? The homie, golly, his name just went out of my mind that damn quickly. Julie'n Davenport. He's an offensive tackle out of Bucknell University. I told you guys I like to try to get these small school guys on. My man, Bob Whitfield. You guys know Bob Whitfield, former Atlanta Falcon. He kind of endorsed him, man. Said the kid is got some nice feet. He's being considered a diamond in the rough. But they're looking to take him in the first 100 picks. So somewhere in the range of the first 3 rounds is where you'll see him go. So we'll talk to him at the bottom of the hour. He's supposed to be calling me, so cross your fingers. You know, I'm always leery when the guest is actually, calling me. And also he's in the ATL. So that's something. All right. Before we go to break though, I got a couple minutes here. Let me get into this Charles Oakley thing real quick. And by the way, shout out to my man Big L. He's in the chat room. I don't see you, dog. Said he sang the Negro national anthem. We gotta bring that back too. Like, it's something about the word Negro that's like, I don't know, dude. I think it's better than African American, man. Damn Jesse Jackson. Remember Jesse Jackson was like an afro with a hairstyle. We're African American. Yeah, go talk to a real African and ask them what an African American is. They're like, a what? Are you saying an African and an American? No, I'm an African American. No, you're not. I'm African and you're American. Yeah, go have that conversation. We need to bring Negro back, dog. Hashtag bring Negro back, too. While we hashtagging the Negro national anthem, hashtag bring Negro back. I'm going to start the movement. See, and then Big L Oakley, he's chanting in my chat room, Oakley, my man. Like, no one actually cares about Charles Oakley, dude. You know what I mean? Like, before yesterday, and this goes back to something that I said the other day, and this dude tried to, like, give me heat about it on the old social media. I was like, the reason Charles Barkley is relative is because of these young kids that he's constantly railing on, that all this new generation, these young cats. Yeah, without them, dude, no one would care who you are. You don't have a shoe out. You know what I mean? You don't own a team. You're a degenerate gambler and a bad golfer outside of talking crap on inside the NBA. Other than that, like, at least we see Shaq on commercials. Every time you turn around, Shaq is always on TMZ doing something. Shaq's on social media. So Shaq keeps himself relevant, right? Guys like guys like Charles Barkley, like ask yourself where Karl Malone is. When last time you heard from Karl Malone? Exactly. Same type of dude. Great player, no championships, no one cares. Robert Parrish, he got plenty of championships, but you know what? No one cares. Still, dude was like, we care about Charles Barkley because he's a top 50 player. Oh, really? So was Robert Parrish. Anybody heard from him lately? Of course not. Get my point? So this whole thing with Charles Oakley that happened, what was it, Friday it happened? Like, my man, like, I love the fact that Charles Oakley is just that guy. Like, he's me. He's like, look, man, I saw these cats running up on me. I don't know what's about to happen. I done been jumped before. So you put your hands on me, it's going to be a problem. I was like, I ain't got no beef with that at all. I don't care what nobody's talking about. If the man was drunk or if the man had if he was just got an anger problem, I don't care nothing about that. He was sitting in his seat, chilling, watching a bad basketball game. And then these white dudes just run up on him. And like he said, you ain't sent one dude. You sent like multiple dudes. Like you was expecting a problem. So, all right, let's have a problem. So then they took my man out, handcuffs, threw assault charges on the dude. Then your man goes on the air. What's his name? What's Nolan? The owner goes on the air talking about my man need to get help. They done tweeted this out. My man need to get help because, of course, they don't understand libel laws and all them kind of things. You know what I mean? But it goes back to one thing, though. The expectations you put on these white billionaire owners when it comes to these athletes. Stop it. Stop it. The New York Knicks were named were referenced by name in the book, The $40 Million Slave, William Roden. If you haven't read it, go get it. Also, man, go get my man Craig Hodges' book too. I'm about to order it tonight and check it out. He's going to come to Atlanta, he said, in a couple of weeks and do some signings. But go get Craig Hodges' book when he talks about, you know, all the stuff surrounding his boycott of Nike, the dashiki in the White House, the letter to the president. Go cop that too. But no, the New York Knicks mentioned by name in the book, The $40 Million Slave, because of the way that behind closed doors, athletes felt like they were treated. The quote comes from Patrick Ewing saying he feels like a $40 million slave because when he's going through his contract negotiations, they was doing this thing where it's like, you coming from where you come from, you better just be glad that we're giving you this money. That's why I bristle at the concept of ever saying somebody was given money. It's because of that book and reading this in this book, because we get this subconscious mindset when we say, I can't believe they gave him a 5-year deal. They gave him this. Because at your job, that's what happens too, isn't it? Your boss gives you your paycheck. You don't earn it. See, the amount of money is not the same, but there's a mentality that goes with these young, black, talented athletes, these rich, white owners of these basketball teams. There's a certain dichotomy that's there. And every now and then, like my man Paul Mooney calls it, like they sign you up for your nigga wake-up call. Every now and then they do. You know, to let you know that you may be. And by the way, now that I think about it, last night, it might have been the wrong night for me to watch Roots again. Because now, like, when I watch these movies, I'm not like a lot of y'all to get all mad. Like, I start picking up things. I start hearing things and the little subtleties in the script that maybe, you know, you're supposed to just get by osmosis. And it's one of the things that it still permeates in 2017, the things that went on back then. Like, these people aren't these guys' friends. So what? Allen Houston works for the organization. So what? Larry Johnson works for the organization. So what? That doesn't mean nothing, because the first time you run a foul to him, you getting thrown out in handcuffs, cuz. And then on Saturday, oh yes. Yes, indeed. That was the coup de grace. My man goes out and this is how you know that what I'm saying is not a falsity. He goes out and gets a dude who hadn't had nothing to do with the organization in 12 years. A dude who is most notably known for either spinning rims, or choking PJ Carlesimo, the coach of the team, Latrell Sprewell. A man who gave James Nolan a tongue lashing when he came back to the Garden after being traded to Minnesota. After 12 years, just so happened, he calls his man up like, hey, Spree, you want to come back to the Garden? Who the hell is this? It's James Nolan. James Nolan who? You know, that's how I figured the conversation went. This is the owner of the Knicks. Man, stop playing. Like, he thinks it's his homeboy like Jeremy or something. Hey, Jay, stop playing, dog. No, for real, this is James Dolan. You want to come back to the game? Dog, didn't I just see you have Oakley thrown out that joint? And just read that you banned him for life? And you want me to come back? What's the catch? This a setup? Is this a setup? Nah, dude. Had my man Spree sitting on the court, smiling, as my former 7th grade teacher would say. Had my man, you know what I mean, shucking and jiving and whatnot, going crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, what the hell, man? And then look, if you Spree well, I don't think you can put yourself in that position. You know what I mean? I don't really think you could put yourself there. I got my man Julie'n Davenport on the line right now. Julie'n, I'm going to call you back right at 7:30, my man, so you don't have to hold on. Y'all can't hear that, but he said okay, so I'm going to call him back at 7:30. And the other thing, and the thing that my man I am no dose brings to mind is like LeBron running around talking about some, you know what I mean, like Oakley for president and all this foolishness. Come on, man. You don't care. You don't care. Big L, you don't care. None of y'all care. But the fact of the matter is, it's a bad basketball team. And in the age that we live in the age of the pile on. So it's easy. Like, no one's going to be on the wrong side of this. If you go against James Dolan, you're automatically on the right side. And everybody loves to be on the right side, right? So it's like, F James Dolan, yo, bad. How you gonna do Oakley like that? So what? You don't owe Oakley. You don't owe Charles Oakley anything, right? This whole notion I'm hearing over and over and over on TV. Oak gave his heart and his soul to this organization for X amount of years. Yeah, but let's not act like he was volunteering. He was compensated handsomely. You know what I mean? That whole notion that, you know, I should always be treated like the person I was at one point. Dude, sometimes you do something for a certain amount of time and you do it very well. But when that's over, you got to push on, man. I don't think this is a real arguable point that we find that being a problem with athletes a lot of times. When you find out athletes are going into depression and things of that nature, is because wasn't it a book? I don't think I read the book, but I think there's a book called When the Cheering Stops. Yeah, it was a documentary. It was like a 30 for 30, right? They was talking about Tiki Barber and a lot of these guys, Michael Strahan. Like, what do you do when the cheering stops? And some of these dudes are able to continue to work in arenas where there's a certain amount. Like Michael Strahan don't stop working. He's on every single show on television possible. I saw this dude doing a show like a Pimp My Ride NFL show where these weirdos who want their whole cars to represent a football team that's not giving them any money for that. Yeah. Congratulations on your resale value, pimp. Congratulations on that. But there are other guys who just, you don't hear about it anymore. They fade away. They're not doing much of anything related to the game. Some cats might be volunteering their time. Oh, also, man, talking about volunteering their time, shout out to the families of a couple guys, man. What's the kid's name from Georgia? Quentin Moses just passed away here in Georgia, man. Burnt up. He and his baby, I think his wifey or his girl, they burnt up, man, in the crib, man. Real crazy. Just like, I saw the neighbor on TV saying she was like banging on their windows and trying to get them out of there. And apparently the house collapsed on the baby and the mama. So, you know, shout out to their family for that, you know, and then just keep your head. Keep y'all heads, man. Fab Melo, former Syracuse basketball player also. I didn't even know he was from Brazil. I got some other news on Brazil too, but he passed away at the age of 26 this weekend as well. So a couple of young cats. The reason it came to mind because I was talking about former athletes trying to stay in the mix, and this kid Quentin Moses was doing some coaching at a small college or whatever. Speaking of small colleges, coming up next, man, Julie'n Davenport, not Julian, Julie'n Davenport. He's a former offensive tackle over at Bucknell University. He also was in the Senior Bowl, getting ready for the NFL draft down here in A-Town, training, getting ready for the combine and all those things. So we're gonna have him on. We're gonna kick it with him a little bit and have a little fun. We'll do that next, right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show.
I only have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Hey everyone. Let's all stop what we're doing right now and take a moment. That felt good, huh? Just like that, we had a nice special sort of moment together. Of course, they don't all need to be quiet moments to be special. They could be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. Sounds like somebody agrees. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Today, call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
All right, welcome back to the One Mic with Big Mike show. I didn't load up any music. I forgot. Sorry, guys. Anyway, it is the One Mic with Big Mike show here on Spreaker.com. I'm also on the Spreaker app. You can also hear the show on TuneIn and, of course, the website onemicwithbigmike.com. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at One Mic with Big Mike, where you can answer the hashtag, put it on the poll questions for the day. Also, make sure you keep this number handy, 404-902-8104, and make sure you guys get in contact with me on the live streaming video here on Facebook. Leave your comments below or jump inside the live interactive chat room by clicking on that little thought bubble icon there on your streaming player. Now, as promised, told you guys, young homie from Bucknell University, Julie'n Davenport, was going to join the show, so y'all give it up one time. Yeah. What's good, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Just getting ready for the NFL. How you doing?
No, I'm good, brother. You probably better than me, though, getting ready to go get some money, some good money. Your people tell me you down here in the A, right?
Yeah.
You got a chance to go check out any of the ATL festivities, if you know what I mean?
No, I haven't been really anywhere. I've just been kind of focused on working out and be in my room just hanging.
Look, dude, smart move. Like, wait till you get the money to get that, because these bras down here get you hemmed up real quick in these adult establishments we got down here. Tell me something. Why Bucknell? Guy from Camden, New Jersey. Why Bucknell? Why was Bucknell your choice?
So just throughout my high school recruiting process, I committed very early to Old Dominion University and still wanted to be recruited even with my commitment. So after I found out that I was losing some of my interest from schools, I decommitted and then went back in the recruiting process, ended up at the end with Bucknell and Fordham. Took official visits to both and chose Bucknell.
Is it Bison or Bison? Because I've talked to my man Cato June, former NFL linebacker. He coaches at Howard. They're the Bison, but then another one of my guests is from North Dakota, where they have the Bison. So which one are you guys?
We're the Bison.
Bison with an S. All right, like an S sound. Yeah. Tell me, I want to know about your Senior Bowl experience. And by the way, you guys make sure you follow Julie'n at JUDAV 70, Judav 70 on Twitter. Tell me about your Senior Bowl experience, because I think you might have had a unique one. A guy coming from a smaller school in FBS school, and then having to step up the competition. I would assume that was one of the main things that the coaching staffs were looking for out of you, to see if you could step up to the higher level of competition. So tell me a little bit about your Senior Bowl experience.
Yeah, I love competition, so I can't wait to get down there and just go against all these guys from some of the best players from their respective schools. And it's been a while since I last played my college game. My last game was November 19th. A lot of these guys play a lot longer than I do. So, it was an honor to be down there, and it was an honor to play against these guys. But I had a lot of fun. I was just out there, just continuing to improve my game and show everybody that I can play against the top dogs.
Anything surprise you? Like you said, you've been off since November. So anything like getting back into it? Like I can relate to like that first day of fall camp after you've been off all summer, and then you get the headache, get that little black mark across your forehead from the helmet. Like anything from an opposing player is what I mean. Kind of surprised you? Like, damn, these dudes is bringing it, or anything of that nature?
Nah, nothing really surprised me at all. I just knew coming in that these guys are just a lot better than the guys I've been playing against, so I was ready for that, and I adjusted pretty well, so it wasn't really no surprises on my part.
Yeah, dude, you're a big-ass dude. I was reading your bio. They said you had, like, the largest wingspan, or one of the largest wingspans in the history of the Senior Bowl. Like, how long are your arms, B? Like, what did you measure at?
I think my wingspan measured out at 87.5 inches.
Dang. Yeah, you could like slap the hell out of somebody. Don't have to be nowhere in the zip code. Did you watch the Grammys last night? I'm just gonna hit you with questions from every walk of life. You watch the Grammys last night?
I did not.
No, me neither. I don't watch award shows. But even if you didn't, either or, Beyonce or Rihanna, quickly.
You said Beyonce or Rihanna?
Yeah.
I'm a Rihanna type dude.
I'm with you, dog. See, we vibe right there because like Rihanna, it's something about that young lady we'll keep it there. He's Julie'n Davenport, man, NFL hopeful out of Bucknell University, the Bison. He's named to the All-Patriot team 4 times and played every last damn game while he was in college. Follow him on Twitter at JUDAV70. When you're not playing football, when you're not working out and doing football stuff, what's Julie'n doing?
I hang pretty much. I kick it, watch movies, play video games and whatnot.
What's your game?
Read here and there.
What's your game?
My games, I play a lot. I play 2K, your Madden. I love adventure games, so games with just a storyline that you can start and end. I play a lot of that. So,
you still hoop? I was talking to my man. Well, I wasn't talking to him. I talked to my man Bob Whitfield last week, but then he hit me today after he found out you were going to be on the show. He said he met you, and he talked to me about. He said he's a good kid. He's got those basketball feet. And I did read in your bio that you're a basketball player, former basketball player, or is it current? Do you still hoop?
Say that again.
Do you still hoop? You still play basketball?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I play basketball. I probably could have played in college too, but I knew I was going to go to school for football.
Word. Who's your squad? Who's your basketball team?
Can you say that one more time?
Who's your basketball team? I'm sorry, am I not coming clear? Or is it just my mumble mouth? Which one is it?
You're good. My basketball team, I'm a Celtics fan. I was a huge Paul Pierce fan growing up.
Okay. They doing work over there with Isaiah and the boys. So Michael Kidd Gilchrist is your cousin. You ever beat him one-on-one in hoops?
We battle it out.
That sounds like a no.
I'm not going to outright say I'll beat him, but I mean, you never know.
What kind of offense do you guys run at Bucknell, my man?
We ran a pro-style offense.
Okay. So, with that being said, I know, like, I don't even know really what that means anymore because so much now with the NFL is being dictated by what the product is coming out of college. You know what I mean? So many of these spread quarterbacks are coming into the league. A lot of teams are going to a lot more of these spread concepts. But for you at the next level, what style? Would that be the style that you feel most comfortable in since you've done it for 44 straight games?
I mean, I feel like I could play any style.
Yeah.
I'm very easily adaptable. Very coachable.
When you watch football, like who are you looking at? Because there's some pretty decent tackles in the league right now that's doing some crazy work. Joe Thomas, my man in Dallas. That's who I thought about actually. Tyron Smith. I thought about him when I was reading your measurement stuff, like long, because you're a big dude, but you're tall as hell, so you're not a fat dude like most tackles aren't anymore. So when you watch the game, when you watch the pro game, like who might be someone that you pattern your style after?
When I watch any game of football, I'm always analyzing the left tackle. Always just saying how to pick up anything that I can use to my game. as well. So even just watching games, sometimes I don't even really watch the full plays.
All right, he's Julie'n Davenport from Bucknell University, NFL hopeful. We're going to see him do his thing at the Combine coming up in about 22 days or so here. You're described as a diamond in the rough. When you hear that description, like what comes to mind when you hear yourself described as a diamond in the rough?
I mean, it's exactly what it is. Just because of the school that I come from. I came into my school and I knew that I had in my mind that I was to get to the point that I'm in and to work towards it, even when it comes out, like because of the school that I come from, it's not happened, but I just made sure that was my mistake. It happened. So a lot of people haven't really played, don't really play, but hopefully I get to reach hop on the bandwagon.
Got you. We got a bad connection, so I'm gonna ask you this one last question. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. While you're here in Atlanta, though, because there's some time to go between the Senior Bowl, you got to see yourself and feel yourself against a different level of competition, as you described it. So between now and the Combine, now that you have kind of a litmus test, what specific things do you feel like you need to work on, or what specific things are you working on to get ready for a good showing at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis?
I'm just working on all the drills that come up, all the drills are going to show up, making sure my feet's good, my strength is up. I didn't really do much this, I would say, in college, so it's definitely a little new to me. So I'm working on pretty much every little step of drill, making sure that I have my best for every drill.
I got you, man. Hey, good luck to you, brother. I'm gonna be keeping my eye on you. Since my man Bob Whitfield has endorsed you, man. So you're somebody that I keep my eye on. I appreciate you joining the show, brother.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Have a good one. All right, that's Julie'n Davenport. I should have asked him about his name, man, because it's spelled differently. It's not spelled like you would think I'm saying it, like Julie'n. It's spelled Julie, Julie. I was gonna say hashtag. What is it called? It's not a comma either. Like it's not a semicolon. Anyway, it's like Julie N. The letter N, Davenport. I'm sorry about the connection, you guys. I would have had him on longer, but the connection seemed to be crap. He's up in Norcross or somewhere right now. Working out, getting ready for the Combine or whatnot. Now, like I said, my man Bob Whitfield said he's the real deal, man. But you heard me mention it, diamond in the rough. Went to Bucknell, a smaller school, so when you see a guy that big and the ability to dominate at that level of competition, of course you want to see him do work against some older guys, which is indicative of the invite to the to the Senior Bowl. So hopefully we can get him on like after the Combine maybe and check in with him again with a better connection. But I couldn't keep him on with that connection being what it was. All right, it's the One Mic with Big Mike show here, man. Spreaker.com, SPREAKER.com. Also, Spreaker has an app available at your Apple Store or your Google Play Store. I'm also available on the TuneIn app and OneMicWithBigMike.com. The show is also available on demand on every last one of those platforms, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube, where you can also catch the video replay of the live stream that's going on right now on my Facebook page, Facebook.com/1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. Use that same handle for my Twitter and my Instagram. And make sure you check out the hashtag, put it on the poll questions. Put it on the poll, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. Don't forget, you can also contact the show. You can always contact me at 404. When I say always, I mean always. By texting 404-902-8104. You can also leave your comments below the live streaming video. I do suggest that you do so. Or you can just jump inside my live interactive chat room. Go to Spreaker. Check out the show while you're listening. You'll see a little thought bubble icon sitting on the streaming player. Just click on that situation and you'll be right here in the building. Also, make sure while you're there click those like buttons too, or those share buttons. I'm sorry. Click the share and the like. Click the little heart button and click the little share so you can share me with your friends on YouTube and Facebook and whatever other social media outlet they allow. All right, so we started the show off talking about this Charles Barkley thing, because the theme of this show is like, what do people owe you? Like, as fans, what do you feel like the athletes and former athletes owe you? As an athlete or a former athlete, what are they owed by the organization, by the fan bases, by former fan bases? And we'll get to more about the former fan base thing, you know, with Kevin Durant returning to Oklahoma City and doing his thing. They got busy too. That's why hashtag put it on the poll. Is the OKC Golden State Warriors thing, let's call it a thing, a rivalry? Is that a thing? Because I'll give you my opinion. I don't think it is. I don't think it can be. I think for what it's worth, and I said this after Kevin Durant decided he was going to leave, I made the comment that Oklahoma City was not going to become Oklahoma City. Like that whole situation that we were looking at, it should have never been. If you think about it, this small market without the baseball, football team, there's nothing rocking down there. There's no reason, except for the fact that Kevin Durant and Russ was so awesome, and James Harden was so awesome, and Serge Ibaka was so awesome, and they drafted so well. There's no reason for that team to have been competing at the level that they were competing at for as long as they did. Like they sucked at the beginning when they first moved, but when them young dudes they hit like 22 years old, it was a problem for the rest of the league. And then, you know, piece by piece, they had to move on to other endeavors. I'm hearing like Serge Ibaka is in high demand, and possibly by the Miami Heat as we approach the NBA trade deadline. But I thought Russ was going to be going too. I thought KD was going to be like, I'm out. And Russ was going to be like, well, I'm not staying in. I can go out to L.A. and do work, do serious work. And, you know, there is a faction that believes that could still be a possibility because Russ only extended the deal by like a year. There was a year he had left, and I think he only added another year. So there is still the possibility that he could bolt. Now with this new CBA, he's going to be giving up a whole gang of money to do so. And then too, with his personality, what his personality seems to be, he seems to be so obstinate of a human being. And then with people who are not in his position, gassing him up, guys like Michael Jordan, like I respect him for not staying, for not leaving, and this and that and the other. There's no respect to be gained in that aspect. Like being an awesome basketball player, yes, but in the aspect of choosing to struggle, choosing to be mediocre at your best, because they can't get no better than they are right now. Like for this season, they are what they are. They're going to be mediocre, 7th, 8th seed, something like that. Nope, that's not a thing. That's not something you can, like in your regular life, you don't congratulate somebody for that. Nah. That whole being admirable that he's being loyal to the organization. Nah. That on house hunters and all these things, and the word you hear over and over and over again. I just love these floors. I just love this view. Oh my God, I just love this kitchen. Everybody loves everything. And it just diminishes the word. So the same thing applies when you start talking about professional sports and loyalty. Loyalty this, loyalty that, loyalty this. Ain't no loyalty. Because if there was actually loyalty, like someone with good sense. And initially, the people in Oklahoma City had good sense. Like ESPN has allowed you people to forget that certain things ever happened. Like when the Kevin Durant decision was made, it wasn't like LeBron leaving initially. It wasn't that. A lot of those people, they did that thing on ESPN where they walk around the street and they put microphones in anybody's faces. And more people than not were like, I understand it. It's Oklahoma. He's in San Francisco now. Yeah, anyone from here right now would have made that leap. Like, damn the money or whatever else. Yeah, I would have made the leap too if I could, if I wasn't stuck here. But now, over time, they've built it up. And they've done a masterful job at it too, building up this KD versus Russ thing, this adversarial thing. And like Russ didn't just become this guy. And I don't think it's just about Kevin Durant. But like, look at last year. Like Russ always, since he's been in the league, when everybody was bashing him about the type of player that he was, the selfish player that he was, that narrative has switched as well. Even your man, Charles Barkley, one of the main people, man, who would just be tearing this dude to shreds. All of a sudden now, that's his man. When all that was going on, Russ still had that attitude as a player that is me, my guys, and F everybody else. So that now once one of his guys becomes everybody else, like I don't see that dude on the court hugging up with James Harden when they play Houston. I don't see that happening. That don't mean he hate that dude. But he just has always had that me, my guys, F the rest. But it's just a convenient thing for now people who don't have a true appreciation for the sport to look upon and say, oh, you know what? Would it be awesome if we made this thing adversarial and we made it like this guy against that guy? And I saw somebody say this the other day. Now I feel like this is real basketball. Two guys, those dudes really don't like each other. Nah. Excuse me. Those are grown men. Those are grown men. This ain't this ain't Larry Bird getting punched in the mouth by Moses. And on top of that, I don't need that. Why should you need that to enjoy a sport as wonderful as basketball, especially as wonderful as the NBA is right now? Like, you show me the team, except the Atlanta Hawks. Probably the Atlanta Hawks is the one team that probably don't have a player that you'll look at and say, man, I want to see that dude play. Every other team, even like if the Knicks are on, the Knicks was on last night or yesterday, right? I'm with it. You know, when Carmelo's doing his thing, he can get busy. Porzingis still doing work. Sacramento, Boogie, you got the kid Gordon Hayward out in Phoenix, or is it Utah? One of them. Yeah, most teams, like 90% of the teams, got somebody on the team that you want to go see, and you put two teams together, and you got a game that you can enjoy watching. You can enjoy the talent on the basketball court. I don't have to see Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook fight. Just get buckets, man. Just entertain me basketball wise, and I'm good. That whole craziness of that makes the game more enjoyable. Come on, man, grow up, be better. You know what I mean? Like, be better as a sports fan than that. The other question I had when I was thinking about all this stuff this weekend is, like, why is no one talking about Scott Brooks and Billy Donovan, the two white men involved in this situation? You know what I mean? Because, like, for what it's worth, Sam Presti, their front office people, they do a pretty decent job of getting talent in the door. But then when you got to have somebody coach the talent, and it's like, the offense seems to be, okay, Russ, you dribble the basketball for 18 seconds, and then if you don't have anything, give it to KD for a bailout. That offense was prevalent, so prevalent when Scott Brooks was there. Billy Donovan stepped in because you felt like maybe we got to fire this dude and get somebody in here that can get some cohesiveness in this offense. Same thing was there. So yeah, if I'm KD, like, if I don't have to work that hard, like, how much ever money you make at your job, 40, 50, 60 grand, whatever. If you don't have to work as hard to get the same amount of money, who's choosing? Like, who's making the choice to say, no, I'm going to struggle. I'm going to struggle for this same loot when I can get the same loot or more, or even if you take a little less for a certain amount of peace of mind, that's still an even trade. If not, you coming up on the back end. But all of a sudden, when it's somebody who's making millions of dollars, he's a coward. He's a cupcake. He's all this ridiculousness, man. He wasn't none of those things when hurricanes flew through that joint and my man came out of his pocket with a milli. He wasn't none of those things then. When he's dropping 50 grand on high school so kids can get a proper education. He wasn't none of those things then. But now he's not there anymore. Y'all act like scoring broads. And it's acceptable, too. Like, all on ESPN. Like, you think he's going to get booed and all this? Look. Like, and then they came at his mom's. You know what I mean? Like, all in her face. Calling the man, a coochie. And, not saying coochie, using the P. Sell out. coward, and all this kind of stuff. They came at this dude's mom with that. How you do that? Like, what part of the game is that? And then Draymond Green came out and said something about it. It's like, that's foul business. That's bad pool, man. And apparently, Kevin Durant was cool with what was happening in the crowd and all that. He came out and said stuff like, after the game, he was talking about he thought it would be louder. But then he also apparently was hurt at the fact that the organization showed no appreciation. Like, that's the kind of stuff that goes kind of like unseen. Like, the organization don't have to ride on that same bandwagon. Fans are idiots. So for the whole thing, you can't be the person that thinks James Dolan can't throw Charles Oakley out the Garden. It's his team. It's his building. He can do what he want to do. If you think that he owes Charles Oakley something for that, and in the same respect, then the organization, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they owe Kevin Durant. Now, that's not me saying that. I'm just making a rationality. I don't think nobody owes anybody anything. If you got paid for your gig, keep it moving. Do what you want to do. In the same sense that he didn't owe them nothing. He didn't owe that whole thing about he got to apologize to Russ because they were like brothers and he didn't call him and tell him what he was going to do. Look, man, a couple things. Being like somebody's brother and being somebody's brother, two different things. Second of all, yeah, there are certain things that a lot of y'all wouldn't even tell your real brother when you're making a big decision. So stop with that whole nonsense. He don't owe nobody. Like, this whole thing about people feeling like they're owed something. It's a grown adult human being that said, you know what? I'd rather do my job with these other guys. Well, he was one win away. They were down 3-1. But what seems to never be taken into consideration is the amount of effort and the amount of energy you have to expel only to be let down at that point. And if your reality is that, can we put this much energy into this same thing again? Not even knowing that Houston's going to be a lot better this year, that Utah is going to be a lot better this year. Like, the road to that point, San Antonio is going to be back every year. Not knowing that the road to that point isn't going to be the same as it was last year. And so many were hoping, but see, they don't have a rim protector in Golden State anymore because Kevin Durant's there. They had to let go of Festus Ezeli. I'll take that. Harrison Barnes is gone. Yep, I'm good with that too. Bogut. What about Bogut? Yep. Don't let the doorknob hit you in the ass, homie. Y'all getting one of the top 5 players in the league. I'll deal with the rest. I said that at the beginning too. Like, y'all, like, people for some reason in their own lives would take the easy route at every turn if they could. But when you look at a young black dude that's making money and he don't want to toil around in misery each and every year, he's at fault. Y'all gotta be better than that. y'all just gotta come better than that, because it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? You base everything on this whole new concept of things being championship or bust, right? Well, he ain't got no rings because you wanted to find a way to discredit LeBron James. So the way to discredit LeBron James is Michael Jordan got 6. LeBron ain't got none. Well, LeBron only got 1. Well, shoot, he still only got 2. And then now he only got 3. But look how many finals he's been to. Michael Jordan never lost a final. Like, the finish line keeps moving. And so the other guys feel that too. James Harden feel it. Russ feel it. Isaiah Thomas feel it. All these cats who don't have rings but are damn good ball players, they feel it. Kevin Durant felt it. He was like, you know what? You're right. I'm gone. You know what I mean? I'm out. Don't be ridiculous with your dumbass fandom, man. This is the One Mike with Big Mike show here. I'm on Spreaker, man. Spreaker, Spreaker. Sign up for your free Spreaker accounts, and also make sure you check out the Spreaker app on all your app stores there. Shout out to Verizon, too. I got Verizon, man. They're doing this unlimited data, I think, now. I haven't checked into it yet. I was busy today, but yeah, I'm going to check into it tomorrow, man. See what's popping with that. Shout out to Verizon for coming on board with that. You can also hear the show live on TuneIn and the website, onemicwithbigmike.com. You can jump inside the live interactive chat room. If you click on that little thought bubble icon you see on the streaming player, it'll get you up in here. You can also send me a text to 404-902-8104 or leave your comments and questions and criticism and all those things below the streaming video here on the old Facebook. I haven't even checked it, by the way. I'm such a horrible, horrible human being. But anyway, we'll come back. We got to take a look back, man. We got to do on this day where I give you guys some tidbits and some little factoids from the world of sports, man. We'll do that next right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
We asked kids what it took to be a dad. This is what they had to say.
A father is always present. I mean, what real father figure can you have if they're not there?
In order to be a good dad, you need to love your son. You need to put gas in your car so you don't break down in the middle of nowhere. And you need to make them breakfast. Yep.
I mean, just to maybe play like a board game with me, or to just stay home and play some video games with me. Just to do like that one little thing is what I really look forward to.
I'm not asking him to be a perfect dad, but he should try.
He's just a constant force in my life.
There's no other type of love like a dad's love because it's not comparable to anything else.
Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
One Mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One Mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One Mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Yep. Hour number 2 here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Being heard live right now via Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, TuneIn, and of course the One Mic with BigMike.com website. You can also hear the show on demand if you missed any portions of the earlier portion of the show. I was trying to figure out how I'm going to say this. You can go to any of the platforms I've already mentioned. You can also go to iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube, where I'll try to post a video of the live stream after the show, but you can also hear the video right immediately after the show's over with. The video is available right now on Facebook, www.facebook.com/1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. That's the same handle you want to use, One Mic with Big Mike, from my Twitter and my Instagram. Make sure you check out the hashtag, putting on the poll questions, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. After I take this look back and do my feature on this day, I'll give you guys the updates on the Twitter poll questions for today and remind you guys what they are. So without further ado, let's do it.
Now, let's take a look back.
On this day.
Sorry, I was looking at the breaking news ticker. Something's going on in men's basketball, but I don't know what it is. All right, here we go. On this day in 1920, the U.S. National Negro Baseball League is organized. We know it as the Negro Leagues. We got to bring that back, man. We got to bring back hashtag bring back Negro. On this day in 1937, the NFL's Boston Redskins move to Washington, D.C. and become, of course, the Washington Redskins. Like, a lot of people, I don't think, know this story. That the team was initially, as just reported, was in Boston, but they were the Boston Red Sox because the owner of the team wanted to kind of piggyback off the loyalty to the baseball team. Well, the Red Sox weren't having that. He had to change the name. So instead of paying the money to get a whole new set of everything done, he just changed the end of the name. Where it said Sox, he just changed it to put K-I-N where the, what is it, S-O-C-K or whatever, right? It just became the Redskins. And that's the story of that. And used the picture of the coach who he thought was, well, he said it was Native American, but he wasn't Native American, as the picture that you see on the side of the helmet. Anyway, on this day in 1970, the National League offices in baseball moved from Cincinnati to San Francisco. On this day in 1974, shout out to my man Rob Calloway. It's like an inside thing. James Cool Papa Bell is named to the Baseball Hall of Fame. On this day in 1980, the XII Olympic Winter Games is held in Lake Placid, New York. I only put that on here because this whole time I thought Lake Placid was like in like Utah or one of those places like Colorado where they ski and all that. I did not know until right this day that it was in New York. So you can see I learned stuff from this whole little thing I do too. In 1983, the man Marvin Gaye, he sang the U.S. national anthem at the NBA All-Star Game. On this day in 1983, the World Boxing Council became the first to cut matches from 15 to 12 rounds. My God. 15 rounds of just getting your ass kicked. And that's both people, too. If you go 15 rounds, no one really wins that. Both people got their asses whooped. On this day in 1989, Oklahoma football player Charles Thompson is charged with selling cocaine. He is later sentenced to 2 years in prison. I'm just going to go out on a limb here, and I think Charles Thompson was a bruh. Maybe not, but yeah, in this game I like to play, what race was he? I think Charles was a bruh. On this day in 2002, Bill Simpson filed a defamation suit against NASCAR for blaming a seatbelt made by Simpson Performance Products for the death of Dale Earnhardt a year before. Simpson said that all he wanted was an apology, but when NASCAR refused, he filed the lawsuit. Damn. On this day in 2008, finally, Roger Clemens denied having taken performance-enhancing drugs in testimony before Congress. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your Monday episode of On This Day here on the One Mike with Big Mike show. Let me quickly give you guys the updated poll results before we move on with the rest of what's going on here today. And not just the results, but give you guys the questions as well. So you can head on over to my Twitter page at One Mike with Big Mike, the number one MICWITHBIGMIKE. And you can chime in on them too. Give me your answers. Let me know your thoughts on these things. And also you can jump inside my live interactive chat room and you can elaborate on your choices if you please. Because I know I'm just giving you like the yes or no type situations or whatever. If you're one of those people who feel the need to elaborate, just click on that little thought bubble icon you see on the streaming player. You can do so even if you're listening to this via the podcast. If you're listening to this on demand, you can still send me messages, and I will still get them, and I can address them on the next show or whatnot. All right. Is it more courageous, going back to the whole Kevin Durant situation, is it more courageous to make the popular choice or make the unpopular choice? Those are your two options, and right now 75% of people are saying to make the unpopular choice. Of course. But for whatever reason, you dumbasses are ripping Kevin Durant because, he went and played with 3 other All-Stars. Shame on him. Shame on him. In a better city, too, by the way. Do you want to see the remake? Do you want to see a remake of Scarface? 33% are indifferent. 50% say no. Because everything was better in the 80s, except nothing was. Except AIDS. But AIDS was worse. And crack. And crack was worse, too. So there you have it. And only 17% are on my side. They say, yeah, I'd want to see it. You know what I mean? New technology, don't have to do those corny-ass special effects. Everybody got to get shot in the chest, though. You know what I mean? So you can do the exploding things in the chest. Do you know the words, to the Negro National Anthem? Did you know there was one? Your options are yes and yes, no and yes, yes and no and no. 80% of people are saying yes and yes. Forgive me for being pessimistic about that and being skeptical, I should say. 20% are saying no and yes. And finally, do you consider the Golden State Warriors OKC thing a rivalry? 100% of people are saying no. I don't think it is either. I truly don't think. You guys can go to One Mic with Big Mike on Twitter. Hashtag put it on the poll where you can find the poll questions for today. Now, getting back to the show. So, I talked about this whole situation with Kevin Durant, and I don't get it. I'll never get it. But it's one of those things that keep the machine going, that keep that ESPN machine going. And I read an article yesterday, too, that ESPN is getting, they're hemorrhaging, B. They're hemorrhaging money because of all the money that they paid out for these broadcast rights for college football, of course, for Monday Night Football, for the NBA. The NBA is costing people $30 a person per game, even for people who don't watch it based on the cable subscription. And people are continuing to move away. My man was talking to me the other day about, what is it called? The Sling TV. You know what I mean? And I haven't had time to look into it yet. Well, briefly I did. My smart TV don't carry it. Waste of money. Like, why I have a smart TV and it's dumb as hell? But anyway, my smart TV don't carry the Sling TV thing. But a lot of people are moving in that direction, man. So they'll have to pay Comcast, who's like all about the price gouge, all about the robbery, AT&T and all these cats. And while that's happening, man, ESPN is getting like raked across the coals. And part of it that in the article I saw was that their willingness, or they're being seen to be an agenda of sorts with ESPN. Like they try to make it seem like politics ain't a thing. Like don't get too deep into politics, but they do. And the way they handle it is that you only get to talk about politics if it's in line with the company's stance on things. So it comes across as bias. Well, it is bias because Kurt Schilling will say something political and he's on that wacko side, that alt-right, Donald Trump, Bannon, whatever side. But like someone else will say something about Trump and how, Dan Le Batard or somebody will say something. And it's like, because it's the accepted thing to say that Trump is an idiot, which he is. Shout out to my man Busta Rhymes, Agent Orange. What did he call him? Agent Orange on the? I didn't see the Grammys, but I watched it on my Twitter feed. That's how I watch award shows. But shout out to Busta Rhymes, Tribe Called Quest, and them cats. Yeah, so you got your man Agent Orange in the White House now, and if you say something about him, that's the popular thing to do. Bash Trump because he's bashable and he's a damn idiot. See how I just did that? But if you're someone who's comes out and you speak for y'all president, well, that could be seen as, and I'm not mad at it at all, because I think if you do, if you support that dude, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? And don't give me that whole, this is the new company line when it comes to Donald Trump. It's like, well, I don't agree with the things he said, but, he's a businessman and blah, 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 blah. First of all, he's a bad businessman. He's a con artist. And because he maintains kind of the complexion for the protection, which is probably orange, right? Because they put out orange cones when they don't want you to hit stuff on the street. So yeah, he does have the complexion for the protection. That he's been able to get away with a lot of things. That dude settled a lawsuit, I think, either the week or the day of the inauguration. That's not a thing. A fraud lawsuit too, by the way. Talking about he wish he could have went to court on it and fought. Get your ass out of here, dude. So my point is this. If you riding with that guy, you don't have to make any disclaimers about not believing in what. You don't have to say, I don't believe in pussy grabbing, or I don't believe that Mexicans are all criminals and Muslims should have to take a test to live in America and all. You don't have to. You don't have to say that. You've already implicitly said it, because it's just like I can't be like, you know what though. Now, Osama bin Laden wasn't he wasn't all bad. I can see his point. If I was on here saying that, everybody both of the people who listen to my show, but hi mom, hi dad, would be like, you're a damn idiot. How could you say that? So it does matter. I'm not a racist. Well, you may be racist adjacent then. You know what I mean? I'm not xenophobic. Well, you're in the neighborhood, B. No, my point. I don't know how I got off on Trump. I was talking about Busta Rhymes, and it got off into that, and whatever. All right. But speaking of Trump, why are we there? I was talking about ESPN and how them portraying a facade as though they're opening up to more political things and more wild and wacky things, like this thing with Jamel Hill and Michael Smith. It's early, so I don't really have a judgment on it, other than the fact that I said last week it's a radio show. Like they're essentially doing a radio show. They're doing like a back and forth radio show for an hour on TV, the same way like Dan Patrick or LeBatard or Cowherd or any of these people do. It's the same thing, but they're just doing it and they're calling it Sports Center. They're interviewing guys. They was playing dominoes with Ice Cube today. And the thing this article was pointing out is something that I've always maintained in my time in this. Not always. Let me not say always. I was taught this in my time in broadcasting, that you can't talk to everybody. And that whole thing that they're doing where they're trying to like get younger and hipper and all this kind of craziness, I'm cool with it, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Jeb in Kentucky, who's unemployed and, just trying to stretch that check out to make sure he gets ESPN on his cable. He ain't trying to see they black ass on his 6 o'clock Sports Center. If I'm going to keep it real, Dan LeBatard always talk like he's creeping up into the land of the abyss, which is ESPN2. You ever notice that? Like, if I had a choice, I would just want ESPN News if it was actually news. But it's not. You see what's happening? They just kind of using these other platforms as like dumping sites for like reruns of First Take. They already canceled the sports reporters. That's out of the way. So they're just like the numbers are staggering, like something like 10 grand, not money, people a day is what they're losing in subscribers, man. 10,000 people that they're losing. That's crazy, dude. You know what I mean? I saw somebody I know, I think too, was talking about their dreams of working at ESPN. You better hurry up. You better hurry up and get there quick before it's all over. Because like we know, man, like we know in life, man, rarely do we see anything that lasts forever. Getting back to the Trump thing real quick. This started last week, I think, with LeGarrette Blount. Or was it LeGarrette Blount that started it? I'm just going to put it on LeGarrette Blount. Being the first guy from the Patriots, the championship Patriots, to say he ain't going to the White House. And we knew it was coming. Like, we knew it was coming. The brothers and sisters knew it was coming. Like, these cats ain't trying to fool with this dude, man. Taking time out their schedule to, because it's basically it's a kiss ass. It's a kiss ass session. Like even when your man, even when the press was up in there, it's a huge kiss ass session for you to sit around and he make corny jokes and everybody got to laugh because the camera's on him, but you in the background, you can't be like, man, press whack as hell. You can't do that. And you can put on for a dude like Barack, because he come across anyway as just a cool dude. He walk cool, he talk cool. He just come across as a real solid individual. Politics aside, right? This skeevy ass dude that's in there now, like, you feel like you'll shake his hand. Oh, speaking of shaking hands, he shook that dude from Japan hand for 19 seconds. So uncomfortably. Last night, my man John Oliver did like a montage of like his weird handshakes. He does his handshake like he's masturbating the other guy. He's like pulling it like to and fro instead of like shaking somebody's hand like a grown man up and down. He's pulling this dude, and it's like a montage of that. So that's how he shakes hands. So weird. Like, anyway, but like he's the type of dude, you shake his hand, you want to check for your wallet later, because even though he's the president, you just feel like he's that type of scumbag of an individual. So if it comes down to that and not going, yeah, I'm not going. Robert Kraft talked about it, and like this dude is like he's on. You know what I'm saying? He understands. Like, he's like, look, man, we've won a couple of these things, and in the time that we won, you know, many dudes didn't go to the White House. He's talking about his man, of course, Tom Brady, because Tom Brady conveniently skipped the time when Barack, the times I think twice, right, when Barack was in office. The last time he lied, said he had family stuff, and then people who do work in the media, find out he was at the facility. He was at the Patriots facility. So there's that. You know what I mean? And it's whatever. You know what I mean? So Bob Kraft was like, so why is it a big deal now? You know why. because your man, that's his man, and I can't even really bag on him for this because I was reading like before the Super Bowl why that's his man. It's not just his man because he's another rich white dude. That's probably has to be part of it. But when his wife died during the lockout or whatever, he said, homie, he said Trump called him for like a year straight every day to make sure he was all right. Like that's real deal Holyfield. Like if he's telling the truth about that, that's real stuff. Because I don't know nobody that would do that for me. And I don't know many people who do that. Like people do that whole thing when somebody passes in your life that, if you need me for anything, I'll be right there. And they check on you every day for like a week. But apparently this dude checked on Robert Kraft for like a year. So I could see, that's your man. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he hit him off with the right reason. Like many people have gone to have skipped going to the White House in the times that we won the presidency. But this is different. That's what people got to start realizing. Like everything that you want to say, like other presidents have done this or done this, but this is different, man, because this dude, and I was hearing it all weekend. I'll get back to this whole thing about the athletes going to the White House in a second. But I was hearing this all weekend. Like people are now really starting to question this dude's mental state. And last week, I said it last week, didn't I? That I got curious about this. So apparently a lot of people got curious about this thing at the same time. And people are starting to speak out on it. Like this dude don't seem like he right in the head. Like when you got a cat that's seeing stuff that's not there. Like for real. And it got me to look up, like, do presidential candidates have to have like psych evaluations before they can run for president? And no is the answer. That's a bad look, dude. Like if somebody got to take a pee test before they, like shovel boxes down a conveyor belt at UPS to make sure they ain't on weed. They ain't smoking weed. Yeah, probably the dude with his finger on the freaking nuclear code buttons we should probably make sure that he's sane first. Nah, that's not a thing, though. So now, people starting to question this dude's sanity. So to say that, a lot of people didn't go to the presidency when this happened or when this happened or when that happened, different. This dude was a crazy person, man. The guy that's in there now, the Agent Orange, is a crazy person, man. So I saw today Tony Gonzalez spoke. Oh, let me give you guys the names of the guys too. Alan Branch isn't going. Gary Blunt, Chris Long, white guy, and people find that shocking. But if you remember back, man, when the Philando Castile thing happened, when the Alton Sterling thing happened, I don't remember any other white cats speak out in the NFL about, the Black Lives Matter stuff, about the protests, and then Chris Long did. And Chris Long, he spoke about it the same way like how Popovich, it didn't get as much pull because Chris Long is not a primetime player, obviously, but he talked about the fact that, he don't know what it is to be a black dude, but he goes out on the field with these guys and he calls his brothers and it affects them. So it should affect him. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's pretty much it, dude. You pretty much nailed it. So for him now to be like, I'm not going to see no damn Trump. Screw that. Yeah, he's about that life. He's been about that life. Who else? I said LeGarrette Blount already. One of their other linebackers isn't going either. And what I did also today, I looked up, I was like, what these dudes contract? These dudes got any type of contract security making these? Because like dudes is making different, they're standing on different, what's the word I want to look for? They're kind of standing on different reasons of why they're not doing this thing. You know what I mean? And some dudes like, I'm spending time with my family. I don't believe that. And other dudes just like, man, I just ain't going because of him. Dante Hightower, Devin McCourty is the other one. And Martellus Bennett. He was the first one. Sorry, not LeGarrette Blount. Martellus Bennett was the first one. So him, Dante Hightower, and Alan Branch are the six so far as I sit here and speak right now are the guys who aren't going. Tony Gonzalez, former Atlanta Falcon. People loved him maybe around here. He said it's silly for him not to go. You should go and tell him what your problem is. Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like, that's not a thing. You could probably do that with Barack. You could probably even do that with Bush before him. My man, you know what I'm saying? Craig Hodges knocked that out with his pops. He got him banned from the league, but, whatever. He did it. And he felt, though, as though George Bush was at least receptive to it. You know what I mean? Like, my man was he complimented my guy on his dashiki and that whole nonsense. He at least played it politically. Your man that's in there now, he's just too damn petty, man. He's too damn petty for all this kind of craziness. Didn't he tweet about it or something? This other cat, Mitch Albom. You know him. I talked about the sports reporters that got canceled. He's a regular on that. I don't know if he's the host or what. I don't think he's the host, but he's a regular on that show. He writes for the Detroit Free Press. You saw him all on the Fab Five, 30 for 30. He says, it's surely their right to do so as Americans. It's also rude. Like, that's what people got to start missing me with. Like, because it seems like that's like the common sentiment when it comes to black people. Like, yeah, you got the right to, but you got the right, but no, it's my right, period. There is no but. Either either I have a right to or I don't. Period, man. Then that's since the Colin Kaepernick thing. You got a right to, but cats start marching. Well, they got a right to, but these folks got to miss me with that. These white folks, man, with these like superiority complexes, I'm way past good. I'm talking about respect. This is what he says. Quote, since most presidential elections are about 50-50, I'm guessing half of the athletes who have visited the White House over the years didn't vote for the man occupying it. So what? You can respect the office. Again, foolery. The tradition, word I hate. The reverence, another word I hate. Of the flawed but still beautiful democratic system. All yada, 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 yada. All cliche. Ain't nothing beautiful about that. Ain't nothing beautiful about somebody that's in an office that got less votes than the person who didn't get in the office. Nothing's beautiful about that. And the fact that people are just not getting wind of that is amazing to me, too. Like, I voted for the one and only time. No. Sorry, I voted twice. I voted the first Bush election. No. It was only the second one. Yeah, I only voted once in life. I voted one time. And then after that whole thing in Florida went down, people was talking about hanging chads and all that kind of stuff. Was my first time actually... Not my first time hearing about the Electoral College. Of course, you hear about it in civics class when you're in high school, but no one cares about that crap then. But this is my first time really, for it coming up as an issue. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't remember. Well, I didn't know how it worked. So I asked somebody at the time I was working at WSB, and in the newsroom, the young lady I asked told me what it was. And I was like, wait, so what happened now? Because at the time, I'm doing promotion at the time. So I'm out in the street getting people to register to vote. I'm telling people they vote count and all this kind of stuff. All this ridiculousness. After the fact, I realize it's ridiculousness. And then I go and look up this whole Electoral College thing. And I'm like, wait. That means my vote doesn't count. If someone votes on my behalf for the man or woman who's going to be in the White House, yeah, it doesn't matter. The system is rigged. And there's more of those crumbs that lead back to a time in this country's existence that it's so embarrassed about, it never really wants to talk about. It never wants to change anything from that time. Slave owners came up with that. And because it's tradition and we should show reverence for it, we can't get rid of it. Sure. Cool. You know what I mean? But as long as that's a thing, just understand when this kind of stuff happens, that people are going to be pissed off, because when people who are ignorant become aware, a lot of times that brings with it a certain level of anger. And that's what you're seeing right now. A lot of these hillbillies who didn't want Obamacare, but they wanted the Affordable Care Act. Yeah. You saw those town hall meetings this weekend? Yeah. Rooms full of white people yelling at other white people in power. Calling them liars and all this kind of stuff. You know why? Because now information is being had. When your ignorance was taken advantage of, and I don't blame them. I don't blame it at all. The educational system in this country is terrible. So I don't blame them. But now, some of these politicians' worst nightmares are coming true. People are becoming, to a certain extent, educated and informed on certain things. And while that's happening, yeah, they getting mad as hell, man. And I'm just in bed laughing at these white folks like, wow. And I'm paying attention too. And folks, pay attention, Because when white people get mad at other white people, bad things end up happening for black people. You know what I mean? See the Civil War. Just saying. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show. Spreaker.com is where you're hearing me, or you may be hearing me on TuneIn, or if you're taking me with you on the Spreaker app, I appreciate you. Also on the website, onemicwithbigmike.com. We'll make some changes to that website here in just a second. It hadn't been updated in a while, so I'm going to have to carve out some time here pretty soon and do some things with the website. The show can also be heard on demand. Appreciate y'all for listening on demand as much as y'all do. At the outlets I've already mentioned, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. The audio is up on YouTube immediately after the show, and I try to get the videos up immediately, but, bear with me. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and make sure you check out the hashtag Put It On The Poll, POLL questions. We got one segment to go. I'll come back. I'll talk a little bit more about a couple of stories that kind of caught my eye today. One having to do with a basketball team, not pro, not high school, not college, but a story that you guys are going to want to hear. And also, man, the NFL posing again. They posing, acting like they care. So I'll talk about it next, coming up right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go.
That was short. My bad. Yeah, man. I put the stuff in the wrong order, so we won't get that last public service announcement in. My bad. Well, welcome back. I guess no need to reset the show. I mentioned real quick the Grammys last night. I didn't watch any of it, but I usually feel like I get the gist of it the next day, because based on social media, I kind of just peruse and skim through, and I do a lot of reading every day, so I kind of catch on. You know what I mean? I saw the Beyonce. I didn't see the Beyonce performance necessarily as you saw it. They had like something online where it was just without the crowd, without the music, it was just her singing. And I was like, this is kind of weird. I think I even posted it. Go to One Mic with Big Mike Facebook, on my Facebook. I think I posted it there, man. It was kind of ill. And she's like mad pregnant too. Like she's like for real pregnant, man. Like the chesticles is on the next level, on like a pregnant like level, man. Shout out to Sean Carter, man. Yeah, it's real in the field. So yeah, I saw that, and I think people were talking about it was a bad performance. I don't know. Like I've given up on that whole thing, trying to like understand what these artistic type people do, because eventually, like, I would assume things get old, man. You try to like reinvent, and like you get to a certain like this broad is at the status where she don't have to do no promo for her albums. She don't have to tell you when it's coming. She just like drop a tweet like, boom, album's out, go cop it immediately, platinum. You know what I mean? So yeah, like she on another level from the rest of us, and it's not really in me to be on some like, man, she was terrible at it. She's Beyonce, for whatever that's worth to people who say stuff like that. The Beehive folks, it's real deal, man. It's like this cult following type thing, and I don't profess to understand it, and I don't profess to judge it. It is what it is. I think all like man worship is weird. That's why I kind of like get my shots in against like fandom and all this kind of ridiculousness. But I'm about the pursuit of happiness too, like true happiness. And if you find your happiness in these things, and Beyonce doing this or her being pregnant brightens your life, I don't understand why it would. But we all in search of the same thing, man, happiness. So if you find it there, it ain't hurt nobody. Run it. You know what I mean? Get it how you live. Speaking of finding happiness, as I do my radio segue, I want to shout out to these kids, man. You guys probably saw this story today. It's the first thing I think I read this morning, and it caught my attention. The St. John's 5th grade CYO basketball team. Shout out to them. They refused to play their game on Friday. The reason why, I mean, call it a mini protest. You know, I can't say it's an all boys team. That's misrepresenting what they are. They are a basketball team. They're a 5th grade basketball team, as I mentioned, but they have 2 little girls on the team. And somebody apparently from one of the other schools, snitch, went through the rule book and was like, "You can't do that. It's an illegal roster." And the people in charge, instead of having common sense, this is why I'm always talking about with youth sports. It's never the kids. It's rarely the kids. Let me say that. It's rarely the kids. It's the adults that F it up, man. Remember those kids in Chicago that Little League baseball team? Like how all that stuff went awry. They had to take the championship back, and court proceedings was all in the mix and all that. That ain't had nothing to do with them kids. That was adults, man, being idiots and being ratchet for no reason. Same thing here. So I'm looking at this picture, this one little girl she's definitely light-skinned, biracial. And then this other little girl, possibly a white girl, not necessarily sure as I, examine her features. My point is this. It's like this religious school, St. John's and all these, St. Mary's and all this kind of stuff. And when asked the team, the other 9, but I think it's 11 of them, so like 9 boys and 2 girls, what do you guys want to do? They all said, "We're not playing." 4 years they've been playing on this team, by the way. 4 years this has been happening. And the reason it's happening, for those of you who's like, why don't you just play on a girls team? For those of you who are those people, at their school, this is how I know it's like a little private, religious school. That, plus they talk about like the Monsignor and these titles that these priests have. In the article, I mean. The reason that they don't, because they can't find enough girls that want to participate in basketball. And these 2 girls want to play basketball. And at 10 years old, why shouldn't they be able to? You know what I mean? So the other team had to, the referees were threatened, their jobs were threatened that if they ref the game, even if they refed it as an unofficial game, if they worked the game, they'd be disciplined. So the other team couldn't play. So what they ended up doing, man, shout out to them for just being resourceful. They had like these T-shirts that said Unity Games. So some of them played in the T-shirts on the team. They split the team in half when everybody left. Got 2 of the older girls from the I guess the varsity team to referee, and they just played their own game, man. Because that's what it is. They just kids that want to play a game, and they went and had pizza. And they gonna have to forfeit the rest of their season because of that. Because of adults being ignorant and stupid. It's an illegal roster. Get your ass. There's plenty of things in this world that's illegal. That's not one of them. Stuff like, did you guys see this? Jerry Sandusky. Not the old pervert. The other old pervert, Jerry Sandusky. His son. The son of former Penn State coach Jerry Sandusky has been arrested and charged with sexually assaulting a child. The 41-year-old has been charged with statutory sexual assault, involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, photographing, videographing, depicting on computer or filming sexual acts, and unlawful contact with a minor. See, that's illegal. These kids playing basketball, it doesn't really add up in the same way, if you get what I'm saying. But like it's just so stupid, man. Like there's things in life that I try to like kind of like, okay, why would this be a thing? Like girls want to be in Boy Scouts. Okay, maybe not. Maybe there's an argument for it, but in this case, there's no sensible way to explain this away. Outside the fact that you're idiots. Your religion makes you idiots. we can't put these girls with these boys because we're perverts, and which means these little boys must be too. Nope. They're 10-year-olds, man. They just want to play basketball. That's it. Ain't nobody having no gangbangs on no basketball court. They just want to play basketball. You're not protecting nobody. Silly. What else do I have here? Oh, I talked about the NFL. The NFL being fake again. So the NFL has come out. Anybody remember when the Super Bowl was? Yeah, me too. It's already happened. So they come out now against this bathroom bill. Not the one in North Carolina. There's a couple of them now. They popping up everywhere that your man Agent Orange is in the White House. So these things are coming up everywhere in the NFL now because they got to do the new thing since the Ray Rice thing. It's like, let's try to get out in front of things, but not too far in front. Because you can't do this before the biggest event of your sport is said to be played. You can't do that. So let's do it now in this little quote-unquote dead period. So they come out and they try to, like, speak strongly against the let's call it the bathroom bill. Brian McCarthy. He's a representative, a league spokesman. He warned that the state could miss out on hosting a future Super Bowl if a quote-unquote bathroom bill targeting transgender people is deemed discriminatory. Well, here's the thing. The next 4 Super Bowls, 4, none of them are scheduled to be in the state of Texas. Meanwhile, Jerry Jones want the draft there. He probably want the combine there and all these kind of things there. You know, he got the facilities for it. Jerry Jones built a city there. I saw it on the on one of the episodes of Real Sports. He got a whole city there where his practice squad, his practice field is so big, it's used as a Texas football high school stadium. Yeah. I want to see Roger Goodell tell that dude no. The details of the bill via the AP. Under the Texas bill, people will be required to use bathrooms that correspond with the sex on their birth certificate. The Republican Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, weird, I know, he cited that the Houston Super Bowl is proof that big events will still stick around. So he's like, F y'all, we know you bluffing. You know you still want to have your games here, so stop with the grandstanding. They talk about the North Carolina situation, how all these people, like hundreds of millions of dollars have been lost by North Carolina via this bill that the people of the state don't even want. As far as I know, I thought government was supposed to be representative of the people's wishes, not the like. You don't just tell me. You know what I mean? You don't tell me what you're gonna do and have me believe in your dumbassness. Not a thing anymore. The blowback effect, it don't really hit the people that's making. That's the thing too. The people who it's affecting the most. Think about it. Hotel rooms, they empty. This is like when an event gets canceled because the All-Star weekend that's going to come up here in a couple of days was supposed to be in North Carolina. It's going to be in New Orleans now. The hotels lose revenue. Restaurants, people don't come eat if they're not there, right? Parking garages, you got to park your car. So the parking attendants, people who have been making like hella bank, they're not going to make it. But the people who represent these folks don't care. An update, not even an update. The situation with Terrell Owens in the Hall of Fame, no one cares. Well, no one should care. At this point, it's a farce. It's just a farce, and it makes no difference. There's no need for anybody to have a debate about it or argue about it or poll people about it. T.O., in the traditional sense of being one of the all-time greats, he is. You don't get very far down the all-time receiver list in any category without seeing the name Terrell Owens out of Chattanooga. What is it? What's the name of that damn school? I actually played against them too. Not the year after he left. Tennessee, Chattanooga. This dude, Vic Carucci, he writes for the Buffalo News. He attempted to explain his reason. He's a voter as well. You know, piggybacking off of what I told you guys last week about Dan Faust and him saying he's a bad teammate. He wasn't your damn teammate. You know, it's just one of those things. Like I always talk about this. If you rich and good looking and charismatic, you just can't tell white people that you're better than them. You can't announce it because then that becomes offensive and then they find ways to get you back for that. Guys like Dan Fouts and Vic Carucci. He said he looked at the fact at the height of Owens' career, 3 teams, the San Francisco 49ers, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, were all willing to let him go. This is what he writes. He was a horrible teammate, he says. Without anything to back it up, he just goes with the perverse narrative that this dude was a bad teammate. The one person who could probably say that may be Hugh Douglas. Hugh Douglas now here doing radio now at my former employer. Because I remember the story that he whooped Hugh Douglas's ass. Hugh Douglas was like being a company man trying to come at this dude about his money while he was in the cold tub. He said the story goes that Terrell got out the hot tub. He didn't want to fight him because he was wet and, he had no shoes on. So he went and put some shoes on and came back and just body slammed this big ass dude, you know what I mean? And gave him that work. So he may be the guy who might say he's a bad teammate, but yeah, whatever. That's one. Guys like Steve Young, who he played with for 8 years, man. He played at the 49ers for 8 years. That's a good run for anybody with one team. 8 years. Steve Young, straight up endorsement, public. Donovan McNabb, who really you would think would be the guy who'd be like, nah, man, screw that dude. Nope. Endorsement, kind of. The way he endorsed it was, and I'm paraphrasing, but he says basically, yeah, T.O. deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. So do I. It kind of like piggybacks it, so I don't know really what that means. This guy Carucci goes on to say he was a divisive force for the people who ran those teams. For the people who ran those teams had no problem cutting loose. Yeah. I talked about the years in San Francisco, man. 8. The contract got voided. He voided this contract. I don't know if you guys remember this, but the 49ers tried to stick it to him and send him to Baltimore. He was intent on going to the Eagles. T.O. was a Baltimore Raven, but he refused to take the physical because the 49ers, throughout the whole season, they was like, T.O. was going to void his contract at the end of the year. T.O. was going to void his contract. Everyone knew. And at the end of the year, they gave him this craziness about his agent didn't send the paperwork in or didn't send the right paperwork in, so they still had his rights. So with them having his rights, they traded him to the Baltimore Ravens. He didn't want to play for the Ravens, and Gus Frerotte or whoever the hell was there, Elvis Gerbach or whoever the quarterback was, he wasn't trying to do that. So he was like, nope, I'm not taking no physical, man. Like, my paperwork was in order. So they worked it out where they shipped him out to Philly, and then he ended up being where he wanted to be. So call that whatever you want to. With Philly, yeah, the optics of it look bad when they got my man doing sit-ups in the driveway and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is this, that the contract that he was playing under, it was time to renegotiate. He had outplayed it, got in the Super Bowl, showed out on a broke ankle that Roy Williams broke, and he felt like it was time to re-up the money. And they froze him out. This after, by the way, saying that they don't renegotiate deals. Of course they do, because after they went to the Super Bowl with, I think it was Comcast, their local TV broadcaster, they took that fact that they went to the Super Bowl to Comcast to get more money from them, but they didn't want to renegotiate with the player. See, that's the thing that people miss. They see all this crazy stuff, this stuff with him and Donovan McNabb, and think it's something else. Nah, there's more to the story. And then with the Cowboys, hell, the Cowboys did re-up him. Before they parted ways with him 2 years, like 2 years in, they re-upped him with a new deal. So the teams that this dude is mentioning, like, they couldn't wait to get rid of you, not so much. Because in Philly, had he decided to play for the money that they was offering him, had he decided to play for the money, they would have had him. Hell yeah. Who were they gonna mess with? Todd Pinkston, Freddie Mitchell. That was gonna be the move. You miss me with the craziness, man. Whatever. And at this point, the crazy thing is this, because this article mentions, like, yeah, you got O.J. Simpson in. You got Michael Irvin in, cocaine. Michael Irvin stabbed a dude in the neck. Speaking of teammate, he stabbed a teammate in the neck. Right? But they're in. So at this point, let's say next year T.O. does get in, or the year after, or let's say it takes 5 years. At that point, it makes no difference. I'm with him. Like, who cares at this point? Because the whole system is a farce. And then, because now what you're doing now is, with all these people, Dan Fouts, this dude Vic Carucci going public with their stances on it, there's gonna be a certain level of bitterness and pettiness, and this dude gonna get up on that stage, man. You know they let them dudes talk, man. Like, he gonna get up there, and he's already an emotional dude, and fire some shots at some people. His departing shots at people, like, i.e. Michael Jordan. And people have already seen that act. So there's a part of me that says that, like, folks might have to die, like, just die off before, like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. Like, people might have to just literally die off before T.O. gets into the Hall of Fame as one of the best to ever do it. And next year's going to be a very, very strange situation because Randy Moss comes on the ballot too. Randy Moss got criminal stuff on his tab, man. But now he's hanging out with the folks at ESPN, and he's this beloved figure. Funny how times change, man. You know what I mean? It's just real, real funny how times change. I think that's it for today. I already mentioned the UConn ladies, man. They playing right now on ESPN too. I'm not trying to look at it. I'll just kind of, like, fall back and wait for the announcement that they won this. They playing South Carolina, Dawn Staley's team today. I know Dawn Staley because there was a time where I paid attention to women's basketball, and Dawn Staley was one of those. She was a pretty good point guard when the WNBA started. It was new, so I was checking it out. Speaking of ball, man, Joel Embiid. Like, I'm waiting. I'm not going to say a lot about him, but I'm just waiting because the clock is kind of ticking on the Joel Embiid thing as far as when the table turns on him. You know what I mean? Because he's this kid. He's out having fun. He had the Meek Mill concert with his torn meniscus because people don't understand what that injury is. He dancing on stage. Yeah, all right, whatever. The people at the 76ers, I'm disappointed, and he got to, because now the meniscus is going to heal. You know what I mean? There's no surgery involved, but he's going to miss some games for it or whatever. But he's supposed to just lay up in a body cast or something? Nah, that dude was turned all the way up, broke the knob off, bashed the remote and everything, man. And, of course, it was on tape. But it's going to come a time, man, where this whole trust the process thing, the Philadelphia Eagles, because they're going to get good. And when they get good, Dwight Howard saw it. The thing that happened to Dwight, he couldn't be that playful, goofy dude no more because people wanted more from him. The finals wasn't enough. You can get us here, means you can get us over the hump, is what the people in Orlando and everybody else was thinking. And it never materialized that way. So then people started dissecting more of his personality more and more, and then the compare and contrast thing started happening with guys who had won. And Dwight was never going to be that guy. Like I've always said about Dwight, man, the last time I talked to my man Jovan Buha from ESPN, we talked about how he got caught in this transition of the league, where the league went from post players and big men, and then Shaq got old, and then Dwight was left, but then everybody around him that was his size, like Kevin Durant is taller than Dwight Howard, and Kevin Durant is handling the basketball, he's pulling up from deep, too. And other cats, Boogie Cousins, taller and bigger than Dwight, shooting the three, dribbling the basketball. Dwight has none of those skills. And 10, 15 years ago, he might not have needed those skills. Patrick Ewing, guys like Lonzo Mourning, didn't have all that stuff. But the game is different. And again, Dwight just kind of got caught in that time where he wasn't, that style of player just kind of went out of style. And he's still here, being the same dude, but still being that goofy dude, not accepting the fact that, because, DeAndre Jordan would probably be a more dominant center 15 years ago. Now, DeAndre Jordan's a rim runner, rebounder, shot blocker, lob catcher. That's Dwight Howard in a nutshell. He's a bigger Dwight Howard. I think there is, one or two more things that I wanted to get to. Oh! How much time I got? This Black Lives Matter thing is awesome to me. And I don't know how true it is, but I just thought it was awesome. Somebody can check this out for me. It's this girl who is the founder of Black Lives Matter in Canada said something very interesting. And it was said in such a scientific way, it makes you want to believe it. And I've heard things about this, about the human evolution and how people became white people and how people were originally black people. But then when people started migrating, their hair started changing, skin color because of the lack of sun and things of that nature. But anyway, Her name is Yusra K. Ali. And I think this is from her, I don't know, Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or something. I don't know. She says, whiteness is not humanness. In fact, white skin is subhuman. All phenotypes exist within the black family, and white people are genetic defects of blackness. White people have a higher concentration of enzyme INL that suppress melanin, in English, melanin production. They are genetically deficient because melanin is present at the inception of life. See, all that stuff sounds real sciencey to make me say, well, can't nobody take exception to it. You know, it's something that maybe if I have some free time, I'll look it up. But yeah, dude, that's pretty awesome. and this is one of those things, man, that like if white people haven't got a hold of this yet, I've put it on my Facebook at One Mic with Big Mike on Facebook. But if this is the type of thing that'll get white people kind of riled up on some, you know, reverse racism type stuff, as though that's a thing. Reverse racism. Nah, it's just racism. You know what I mean? But it seems to be, you know, entrenched in some sciencey type things. You know what I mean? Her comments resurfaced after she declared Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau a white supremacist terror. Whoa, she's one of those. This dude that was meeting with Donald Trump today, she called him a white supremacist terrorist. All right. And on that note, that's a perfect stopping point for tonight's show. I want to shout out to my man, Julie'n Davenport. Appreciate you joining the show, homie, even though the connection was kind of ill. Good luck to the homie. We're going to get some more of these guys on, too, as we move towards the NFL Combine, the Scouting Combine, and post-Combine, too. Hear from some of these players. If these agents will stop tripping, man, they act like I'm trying to get, you know, Deshaun Watson. I'm trying to get these smaller school guys some time on the show or whatever. I'll keep working at it though, you know what I mean? But yo, thank you to him though. Thank you to him and his representatives for hollering back at me and getting this thing done. I got to get up in the morning to make some more calls and try to get something. One of these agents blocked me. He blocked my number. I'm sure of it at this point now. But it's all good. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna always be like this. So anyway, you know, make sure you catch the show. If you didn't catch the entire show, holler at your boy on Spreaker. Sign up for your free Spreaker accounts. It's very easy. And then once you do that, follow me on Spreaker. I'm trying to get my followers up on Spreaker everywhere, as a matter of fact. I'm also on TuneIn. Check out my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. Change is coming. iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and of course YouTube. Follow me on the old Facebook or like the Facebook page, One Mic with Big Mike. Same thing for Twitter and Instagram. Like those too. Follow me there too. And as far as Wednesday, I might have something a little special for you guys. I got to make a call, and I'm kind of apprehensive about making because of the nature of the conversation of what it would have to be. But I'll let you guys know. Just keep your eyes to my social media, and I'll let you guys know what's coming on Wednesday if it materializes. But until then, until Hump Day, man, you guys be safe, and I'm gonna holler at y'all.